I did my lesson inspired by the iconic painting American Gothic by Grant Wood. I completed it within 2 55-minute classes with second graders. I started them off by showing them a brief Khan Academy video of 2 art historians explaining their interpretations and history of this painting. I was amazed at how many intelligent questions were asked and how observant the students were about this painting. At the end of the video, I asked them a series of questions to see if they had actually learned something from the video. I would ask things such as, what was the artist's name? What year was it painted? Who were the 2 people in the painting? And so on. The amount of correct answers I received was extremely impressive. The kids were so interested in the video that they retained what was being said. I rewarded those who answered with high praise and stickers. When they had gotten back to their seats, I asked them if they knew what a duo was, and some kids sort of had the idea. I explained to them what a duo was and asked them to give me a couple examples. They answered with things such as Batman and Robin and Garfield and Odie, so I knew that they understood. I then gave them a piece of notebook paper and had them brainstorm as many duos as they could in about 5 minutes. When the time was up, I had them circle their favorite one. Some students shared their ideas and I wrote them on the board. The next day, I started them off with a quick prezi to give them an idea of what we would be doing. Before I showed them this first picture, I asked them if they remembered his name and the year it was painted, and surprisingly every hand went up. I explained to them what popular culture was, and I also told them what a parody was, since the next few pictures were examples of this. During all of the examples I showed, there was always an outburst of giggles and hands going up to explain to me what they saw. They would tell me the similarities between the real painting and the one being displayed. They would also point out little details such as the clothing they were wearing and what was in the background. They would also tell me what the relationship of the duo was, such as a famous couple or 2 best friends. I tried to put in as many recognizable duos as I could so they could really grasp the concept I was trying to get across. Students even noticed things that were different from the original painting, such as the Death Star being in the background of this one and the pitchfork resembling a lightsaber. They even pointed out that the farmhouse was replaced with Princess Peach's castle, but they knew it was still a parody of American Gothic. They realized all of the minute details in this one, such as the candy cane possibly replacing the pitchfork and the stockings hanging up in the background. When I showed them this one, I mentioned that this was done by a student, and I think that really sparked their interest. And they thought this last image was super cool when I told them it was made completely out of Legos. To incorporate a little bit of history, I told them about famous duos. I would break down exactly what these duos were famous for, just to reiterate their knowledge of it or even teach others about it for the first time. Their questions and comments were very curious and they sounded excited to learn it. After we were done with the prezi, they went back to their seats where I asked them to pick up the white 9x12 pieces of paper in the middle of their table. I demonstrated how they were going to fold the paper to create an outline of the basic composition of the painting. I asked them to fold it hot dog style to help them place the 2 people in the right places, and then fold the top of that folded paper about 1/3 of the way down to create where their heads would stop and the roof would begin. After they were finished folding, I demonstrated on the dry erase board how and where to draw the basic shapes of the head and shoulders of their characters. I explained that they were just regular shapes and lines to ease their concerns of not being able to do it. It helped them to be able to see me do it first. After the basic outlines of the people were done, I showed them that all they had to do for the house in the background was draw a basic triangle for the roof and 2 lines for the sides of the house. I then helped them with the basic shapes of the window and door, which were just a pointed arch and 2 rectangles. I also told them that they had the choice to keep the pitchfork in their drawing or replace it with something that their character would normally be holding. I was very pleased with how much the folding helped the students get the composition right. As the students began drawing, I told them to focus on the faces the most, since Grant Wood spent most of his time making their faces extremely realistic. Many of their ideas were really cute and happy, and others' ideas were focused mainly on the feelings portrayed in the paintings, such as stern faces and glaring eyes. I could tell they were really enjoying the idea because they were taking their time, which showed me they cared about the outcome. Some students even customized the farmhouse in the background to go along with their duos. Some even decided to use duos that included people with their pets or companions. Others did duos of recent Disney movie characters in which they enjoyed watching a lot. All in all, I was very pleased with the results that came from this project. I felt like I had a good pace going, and I presented it in a way that the kids would be interested in and excited about. I believe that the students took away a basic understanding of how life was in the rural parts of America during the 1930s. They got to take a glimpse back into the past to see how many things have changed since then. The students also had the opportunity to make connections between our current popular culture and past American culture and history. I enjoyed teaching this lesson, and I will definitely be doing this project again in the future, and I believe that it can be modified to accommodate upper grade levels as well.